Good evening. This is Celia Faye Meisel, and welcome to this live stream. Tonight, we are going to be talking about how your relationships are potentially sabotaging your business success and how to quickly shift out of misalignment and become magnetic to your dreams. So, the whole subject of relationships is probably something that I could spend hours talking about. Working on my relationships and really doing the deep healing work surrounding them is one of the key factors that allowed me to go full time in my business really quickly, start making sales, and doing really aligned, purposeful work pretty much instantly when I got very clear on my business and my soul-driven mission. So the subject of relationships, again, I could talk about it forever, and it's something that I do a lot of work with my clients because I find that it is a key determining factor as to whether or not their businesses are successful. And it's quite complex when we really look at the depth of what relationships, because to most people, you think of relationships as your partner, your spouse, your partner or your spouse. It's more than that. It's beyond. I've got messages coming in here. I'm getting distracted. So it's beyond just those simple, the partner and the spouse. It is, your family, your relationship with your community, your relationship with others, and it's your relationship to yourself and your relationship to spirit. So as a light worker, as a healer, as a coach, you have got to have all of those things in alignment. And if you are not making the money that you know that you deserve, if you're not calling in those clients that are ideal clients that you freaking love to get on the phone with, if your business is not a reflection of what you really seek within yourself, you have got to take an assessment of your relationships, because that is the number one thing that will hold you back. Our planet is built on relationships. We have billions of people, and there is no other. I believe and have been shown that there are very other star systems and galaxies and planes of existence that have had this number of souls physically incarnated at a single time in one area. So we have a really unique system and situation going here on the planet. So a lot of people fall into that isolation sort of complex, right? Where you have people that they live here on the earth and they're total hermits, right? They never leave. They don't leave their house. They don't go anywhere, and they're just extremely, extremely isolated. And, those people have a very difficult time manifesting. They usually don't have money because they can't work. They have poor relationships with friends and family. So that's sort of an extreme of what relationship problems can create, is just that sort of that hermit kind of way of life. Okay. And there's a difference between being a hermit and being energetically sensitive and an empath and needing your space. So I just want to draw that distinction right now. But today I'm going to talk about the 4 levels of relationships. And we're only going to look at just a part of the dimensions because they go so deep. And I will take you into some of the depths of what these mean. So just so you can get a little bit, you can get your consciousness wrapped around what I'm talking about. So first, we're going to begin with the relationship with the self, okay? Because this is really the most important one. The relationship of yourself is how you talk to yourself. It's your internal dialogue, and yourself is extremely dynamic. You've got your physical body, your energetic body, your emotional body. So you've got all of the layers of your bodies. You have your conscious mind, your subconscious mind, your super consciousness as well. So that in itself creates unlimited permutations of what's possible of the energies that can be running through just the channels of the self. But particularly, I want to look at first expectations, the expectations that you put out for yourself, and really how those affect your business and drive you. Because if you are putting expectations on yourself that actually are not yours, they're expectations from society or expectations from your family, your parents, multi-generational expectations, that's going to cause a lot of problems for you, because you're going to be wanting yourself to do things that your soul is not designed to do. You're going to be desiring things that you are not actually meant to do, okay? And that's a big problem. Now, when you are suffering with that sort of misidentified self, it's going to be difficult to manifest, and that will show up in your coaching business. It will show up in your healing business, because it will be difficult to attract clients, or it'll be difficult to up-level your income. You'll be attracting a lot of people that reflect that same sort of energy, and what happens is that basically the universe and your soul is asking for this to be healed. And so you may find yourself where you're on sort of a hamster wheel, where you're like, gosh, I just can't get this pattern to stop. I just can't get this pattern to stop. And essentially what is happening is you are recreating the same situation over and over and over again. And this deep part of you is begging you to stop, to please stop the madness. And so when you're on that hamster wheel, you're going to feel incredibly disempowered. You're going to feel, you're going to sabotage opportunities. When new things come your way, you're going to shut them down. And that's because there's a huge misalignment happening between your conscious mind and your unconscious patterns. All right. Now, there are multiple layers that can connect into this relationship with the self. The first one is the soul level blocks and restrictions. And that's essentially the past life choices that you have made that are affecting you at a soul level, and you are replaying them over and over again like a broken record. And the programs can be things like miscommunication, misdirection, misguidance, drama, failure, fear, sabotage, turmoil. What are some of the others? They're all really negative, because that's why they're called negative blocks and restrictions. So those blocks and restrictions will be paying out like, it's like essentially like you're like a computer program, and it's just running and running and running on repeat. But you're so much more than that, and you know that. And that's why this time of existence on the earth right now is so incredibly important, because we are truly ascending with our consciousness and opening up and awakening, and our souls are ready to heal those patterns so that we can be a part of that new planetary pathway and that new galactic universal pathway that we are essentially laying out right now. So the other way that the self-sabotage and that misalignment from the self and expectations will show up is through the DNA karmic ancestral lineage blocks, okay? So these are going to be the blocks that are, they're generational programs that are running in your DNA. If you know about science, the study of epigenetics and how the DNA has memories. And so, you can even look at your family and be like, oh yeah, great grandma, she lived lived during the Depression, and she always was like a kind of a hoarder around food. And then my dad, he, because of that, it affected his beliefs about money, and he believed that there was always a lot of scarcity. And so he saved all the time, and he never gave us anything. And then, that translated into how they treated us as children. And now, here we are today, and I have this money block and I have that money block. So that is also that subconscious level, but also that DNA ancestral level of karmic imprint that happens. And so what I have found is that the clearing and the healing has to happen at all of the dimensional levels. We must do the soul level healing. We must also do the conscious clearing work and the DNA ancestral healing, the releasing the oaths and the vows and the contracts, reprogramming, and ultimately healing and repairing that inner dialogue within ourselves. And that's what I am feeling, that it's like a muscle. It's like I was calling it today the money muscle. But any of those things where you're telling yourself what you can and you cannot have will directly be impacting how you take action in your business. So this, now you kind of get just a basic, this is just a little introductory taste of how deep your relationships go from the level of the self, from the soul level choices that have been made in past lives, the choices of your ancestrals, the genetics, the DNA, all of that, and how that is all feeding in today to basically be a part of the person that you are now, and how you are consciously creating or unconsciously creating because you are playing out these patterns. And the beautiful thing is that it can all be healed, it can all be cleared, but it's got to be done the right way. It's got to be done with intention, and it's got to be done with with an intention of the direction that you're heading. And then you've got to be ready now to address the family, okay? So this is the next level of relationships, the family and the people that are closest to you. So this is your partner, if you have children, if you have siblings, if you have aunts and uncles, any sort of relatives. And this is actually more simplified once you've done that healing within yourself. You know how to address the family things. So it's super easy. Okay, there's two ways. Okay, so number one is you shift the relationships into alignment. You shift them, you energetically shift them. And again, it's very deep because of how the dynamic of the relationship is. But you set boundaries, you tell your partner, you tell your family exactly what you need, you tell them how you operate, and you give them that opportunity to join you in that new energy, okay? So it's not going to be, I'm going to wait for my family to change. I'm just waiting for that one day that my husband is going to get up and he is going to change, or, I am just waiting for that day that everybody else is going to change, okay? Corey says, I'm a shifter. Does that mean that you have difficulty setting boundaries? So, so with the family, we have to get them into alignment when we do the work. So when you've done all of the work of number one, of healing the self, healing the soul, all of that, and shifting, now it is all about bringing that family and bringing those relationships into alignment to support you. Because I will tell you that if I couldn't shift my relationships into alignment, I would not be where I am today. I have done just as much work on the behind the scenes of healing the relationships, of really communicating, really changing what what needs to happen, and letting everybody know what I need, because I'm the one with the big vision and the dream. Okay, now what if the person isn't going to get into alignment with you? What if they're just not? Okay, that's where you have to cut off relationships. There's really no other way to put it. You either cut it off, or you don't give it any energy whatsoever. There doesn't have to be this big long conversation, this big drawn out drama. You just let them go. You let them go. If they're not going to come into alignment, If they're not going to be a part of the vision, they're not going to be a part of the change, they are going to drag you down. I'm going to say it again. They are going to drag you down, and you're not going to get to where you need to be. If they have a great awakening one day, you can pray for them. You can ask the angels. You can, pray that they awaken. But literally what is happening is your vibration is here and their vibration is here. And if they are caught up in that story and in that drama, they're not going to be able to see what you're seeing. They're not going to be able to see the light and all the possibility because they're stuck in that lower consciousness. Okay? So, if you are the martyr, this is such a huge problem with women and being in the spiritual business and spiritual entrepreneurs and coaches. If you're the martyr, where you're constantly sacrificing for the family, you're constantly sacrificing for your clients, you're constantly sacrificing, that is not an energy that builds a sustainable business, okay? It's not. It's better to be firm. It's better to stand your ground, again, without striking up the drama, but hold your truth, because you are awakened to your source connection, and source is what is going to support you, not all of this other stuff, okay? Not the limiting beliefs. So you have to just don't fall into the martyr role, and don't feel like you have to be the sacrificial one who has to give up their dream, especially when you're the visionary. Because if you're hanging out with me and you're attracted to my message, that means that you have big dreams. That means you have big goals. That means that you want to shift the direction of your family. You want to create things. You want to create opportunities for yourself and for those the ones that you love. You want to see miracles. You want to manifest your dreams. Awesome, Jill. You see people shifting because of your shift. And Corey says, as your puzzle piece changes, others are forced to change. My present alone shifts people. Yeah. So Corey, that just means that you're getting them into alignment. So it's very natural. That's awesome. And Jill too. Jill is saying that she is coming into alignment, and other people. And that's what we want, ladies. That is beautiful, 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 beautiful. So you can congratulate yourself that you're on that right track there. So moving into the next part. Okay, this is so important. I'm just going to take a little drink of water. Okay. So we've addressed the relationship with self. We've addressed the relationship with the family, and now the third piece is people outside of the family, which are others in your community. Now, this is where your clients fall into the category, your clients. So if you're having a hard time manifesting clients, or keeping them happy, keeping them engaged, keeping them with you, and also maybe having a hard time with your mentors that you're working with, it's really important to look at your childhood dynamic and what you grew up with energetically in the family life. Because I find that beyond the soul level energies and the karmic energies, we have to look at the nucleus of the family that we were raised in. And that's going to directly impact our ability to manifest clients and to work with them. And the reason is that it's sort of like how we were treated, how mom or dad treated us. And so if we felt like we needed to prove ourselves to either mom or dad, then we're going to feel like we have to prove ourselves to our clients. If it was hard to get money from mom or dad, then it's going to be hard to ask money from your clients. So that's where I'm seeing that the family relationship is directly impacting your community and your ability to actually socialize, to integrate into society and be able to function, have social relationships, have friendships, and also have amazing client relationships as well. So being able to look back into your past and look at that dynamic and see how you're recreating it in your present is a really amazing gift that you can give to yourself. And then doing the healing and clearing work around those things to start to create and manifest new and different results that will just change everything in your life and your business. Okay, so the final step, and this is equally as important, and this is your relationship with spirit. And your relationship with spirit, when I say spirit, of course I mean God and I mean source, but I also mean your unseen realm, your spirit guides, your guardian angels, your archangel helpers, and all of your multidimensional healing gifts and expanded gifts. If you are in this level of self-denial where you don't feel worthy of receiving what it is that you really want, you're going to cut off your gift of spirit. And that is probably one of the most, it's not probably, it is the most important energy that you have to bring into your business, because then when you're showing up, you're not just showing up as the solo entrepreneur. Like right now, I'm here talking to you, but also I have been in conversation with my guardian angels today. I've been in touch with my spirit guides this week. I've been connecting with source, and I have spent a lot of time with the archangels, channeling and doing work. So when I'm coming before you, you're getting the whole multidimensional Celia of all of the layers of energy. And so there's that much more power coming through. Whereas if I'm not connected with spirit, then it's kind of like more of an empty message. And my message is broadcast much at a greater, higher level energetically because of my connection with spirit and source. So the denial of self, the denial of allowing yourself to receive your deepest desires will cut off your gifts from spirit. And those are your most potent healing gifts. Those are your most potent energetic gifts that are going to really transform every area of your business. And it's a type of work that it just doesn't get taught from anybody. It's good to have people around you to hold the space to discover. That's what I do with my clients, where I hold an energetic space for them to up level and to expand their healing gifts, teach them about their soul specializations, all of that, those dynamics of their most ancient gifts. And it's when you connect in with that level that the true miracles happen, because again, you're actually going into the dimensions and channeling that through. And the more we awaken into our multidimensional consciousness, the more that we can attract in those people who are ready to work with us at a deeper level. And that's really where we are now. I've reached a place with myself where I'm working with advanced coaches, advanced healers, advanced light workers, because there's people that are definitely designed for startups and newbies. But like Jill here, I mean, Jill's got 20 something years of experience in her craft and field, and she's ready to go freaking big and manifest like a queen. And and those are the women that I want in my practice, the ones who are just I'm done, I'm a master, I'm so amazingly gifted, and I'm not letting anything stop me anymore. And the women that still really need to give themselves permission, that they have to work through number 1 through 4 of doing a lot more of that healing work, they're going to need some more time before they're ready, and then they'll reach their mastery level too. So all of this it will impact your business, it will impact your results, and dimensionally you have to be actively working on all things. You can't just lock yourself up and only work on your business and not take time for your relationships. You can't only work on your business and not take time for self-care and for healing and for health. At the same time, you can't be channeling spirit all day and not be working on your business and those things as well. So check in and see where Of course, Jill. Yeah, tell your husband you're making $10,000. Claim it. Um, so, um, just bringing in all of that energy, and not because, Jill, not because you need his approval or anything like that, just because, like, this is how it is, this is what I'm doing, and he will respect you. The other night, I'll tell you guys a story and I'll wrap up here. My husband and I were talking, and I was actually very emotional. I was extremely emotional because the angels were speaking to me at such a deep level and just speaking into my heart, and it brought me into tears. I was crying. I was so emotional because I felt like I've just been putting them off. You know, they've come to me and they've helped me so much, and they've given me these invitations, and I just felt like I've been putting it off, and I wanting to learn these other things so I could come and work with the angels. And I was crying. And I told my husband, I said, I just need to be vulnerable with you right now. Can I just be emotional and vulnerable? I really need that. And he was like, sure. And so we kind of laid there, and he was cuddling me, and we were talking, and I was crying. And he was like, this is so beautiful. Like, to me, I was being vulnerable, but he saw the power and the confidence that I was aligning to energetically to give myself permission to be this angel woman that I have not given myself permission to be. And so our people respect us, our families respect us, our communities respect us when we're really honest with ourselves, and when we allow spirit to flow through us at that really deep, beautiful level. They will just a change will happen in people's hearts when they see that. So, don't be afraid. I really pushed myself into the Akashic Records and, taking that route. And I love the Akashic Records, but going forward, all of my Akashic Records, except for my business work, will be outsourced. I have a team member who's going to be doing all of the Akashic Records readings, except for the business readings. So I can focus on strategy and healing, and just focusing on that next level for myself, and writing books and doing my mastermind, only doing high end. So it's definitely a shift for me. And actually, I have one more story I'll tell you all, and then I'm going to hop off. But the other story is about my husband again, because this is about relationships. Hi, Liz. So you could tell a work shift was occurring for me because of my eye. Okay. Oh, okay. You have to tell me what that means. So I'm interested to know what that means. So my husband today, he had an experience where somebody was like really, really emotional, and they were like they were really emotional, and they were like falling into that victim role. And he was like, I'm really not available for it. He was like, because I've seen what it's like when somebody is extremely, when they're extremely driven, and when they're extremely committed into their, into their purpose. I can see that. And I was like, oh, and he meant that he had learned that from me, because I turned my health around. I have, built a business. I've built multiple businesses, and really been driven and focused on my dreams, and really focused on aligning to spirit and aligning to source, while connecting in, while building success and creating money and miracles and all of that, and supporting others. So that's just a little bit of like how I get that back, how I get that alignment back from my partner through love and support. And it's definitely because of that energy that I bring in to the situation. And I've had other healings as well. But that's pretty much. So Corey says I can do face reading. That's pretty cool, Corey. Yeah, big shift. And it's really beautiful because all of the work is already done. And I'm going to be talking more about we don't have to push, we don't have to overdo it anymore. It's like, we really have to create that ease for ourselves and do what's easiest. And that is really good. What's going to take your business to new levels is no more of that masculine push, but more of the feminine receiving. Yeah, Liz says if you don't allow the negativity, all the positive feels come to you. And Elizabeth had a miracle situation this week where she was at work, she was going to one of her jobs to do some work, and her wallet fell out of her purse. And somebody found it and turned it in, and with all of the money there, all of the credit cards, everything. And that's because Elizabeth really works on her internal dialogue and really creating that positive love and that positive shift with all of her family members. Because you can't control other people, but you can always work on yourself, which was point one. Okay, so just sending you guys loving positive energy. Thanks for the heart. I'll be back tomorrow talking more about these, the childhood, some of the more of the relationship things about childhood and past life trauma. And we'll be just I have a couple more talks about relationships. So until next time, this is Celia Faye Meisel. My title is shifting, but it has something to do with business strategist and angelic something or other. So have a great night. I'll see you soon. Bye.